All right, if you're in marketing, you know the drill, right? The constant pressure to pump out fresh, on-brand content. Well, hold on to your hats because Google and their DeepMind lab just dropped an experimental AI tool that could seriously change the game. It's called Pomelli, and think of it as your new AI marketing sidekick. I mean, have you ever felt like you're running a one-person marketing agency? Yeah, if you're in the small or medium business world, you're probably nodding your head right now. You're the CEO, the product manager, the accountant, oh, and yeah, the head of marketing, all rolled into one. Trying to juggle all of that is, let's be honest, a massive challenge, especially when it comes to consistently creating great content. Okay, so here's the plan for this little deep dive. We'll kick things off with a big marketing challenge everyone's facing. Then we'll introduce you to Pomelli, show you exactly how it works, walk through a real example, and then kind of zoom out to see what it all means for the bigger picture. All right, let's dive right in. What's the core problem that a tool like Pomelli is even trying to solve? Well, for pretty much any business today, creating this constant stream of high-quality, on-brand content for all your channels, social media, ads, your website, it's not just important, it's absolutely crucial. But man, is it a huge drain on resources. And for small and medium-sized businesses, this is where a huge resource gap opens up. I mean, you've got limited time, right? Your budgets are tight. You might not have a marketing guru on staff. And all of this makes it so tough to compete with the big guys who have entire teams for this stuff. And don't even get me started on creative block. You know that feeling? Staring at a blank screen, knowing you need to post something, but having no idea what? And this is exactly where Google is trying to step in. They're positioning Pomelli as the potential answer to this problem. It's an experimental tool, but it's designed from the ground up to help bridge that exact resource gap for businesses that just can't throw a ton of time and money at creating their digital campaigns. So what is this thing, really? At its core, Pomelli is an AI tool from Google Labs and DeepMind, and it does one thing incredibly well. It literally scans your company's website, learns all about your brand's unique vibe, and then uses that knowledge to whip up custom social media campaigns for you. Pretty cool, right? Okay. Now, before you run off and try to find it, let's get into the nitty-gritty. First off, it's a public beta experiment. What does that mean for you? It means it's free, for now, while they're testing it out. It's English only at the moment, and officially, it's only available in the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. But here's a little pro tip from people who've tried it. If you're somewhere else, a VPN should do the trick. So how does all this magic actually happen? Well, the beauty of Pomelli is really in how simple it is. It boils down the entire, sometimes complicated, process of creating a campaign into just 3 super straightforward steps. First, it builds something Google calls your business DNA, kind of like your brand's fingerprint. Next, it uses that DNA to generate a bunch of campaign ideas. And finally, it creates the actual stuff, the images, the text, all the assets, which you can then jump in and edit. And this whole process kicks off with probably the simplest input you can imagine. Seriously, you don't have to fill out these long, boring forms or answer a million questions. You just give Pomelli your website's URL. That's it. You just pop in the link. And this is where it gets really, really smart. The AI goes to work scanning your site and pulling out all the core pieces of your brand identity. It figures out your tone of voice just from reading your content. It identifies your custom fonts from your code, your color palette from the design. It even grabs key images and figures out your brand's values. All of this gets bundled into your business DNA, and that becomes the foundation for everything else it creates. Okay. Theory is great, but let's see how this thing actually works in the real world. Let's walk through a quick example, going from just a simple idea to a totally polished social media carousel ready to post. So let's imagine you run a custom bakery. All you have to do is type in a prompt describing what you want. Something simple, just like this. A campaign for our new wedding cake range. You hit go, and Pomelli gets to work. And boom. Here's the kind of thing you might get back. Based on that simple prompt and the bakery's business DNA, Pomelli could spit out a whole 4-part carousel post. It's got headlines, it's got descriptions, and it's all already perfectly aligned with the brand's style. Elegant, focused on customization, and inclusive. It just gets it. And this is a really crucial point. What the AI gives you is not the final word. Not even close. Google makes it super clear that you, the business owner, are always in the driver's seat. The content it generates, that's just a starting point, a launch pad. So, for example, let's say the AI came up with a headline like, "Sweet Feast Zero Worries." It's not bad, right? But maybe it doesn't feel quite right for your brand.
Well, with just one click, you can edit that text right inside the tool to something that feels more on point, like Sweet Celebration Zero Worries. And you can see the graphic update right there in real time. And the editing doesn't stop with the text. Oh no, you get a whole toolkit to play with. You can swap out images and logos, you can edit all the headers and descriptions, you can tweak the fonts, though cleverly it keeps you within your brand's guidelines, and you can modify the colors from your palette. It'll even help you generate a call to action button. And once you've got it just right, you just download all the assets and you're ready to use them anywhere you want.
All right, so let's pull back for a second and look at the bigger picture here. What's the real potential of a tool like Pomelli? And, what are the limitations right now? The promise here is, well, it's huge. We're not just talking about saving a little bit of time. We're talking about getting back hours and hours from content creation so you can actually focus on strategy. It's about making sure every single post is perfectly on brand without even thinking about it. And it's a powerful way to finally beat that dreaded creative block when you're just staring at a blank content calendar. I mean, ultimately, this is about leveling the playing field for smaller businesses. But let's also be realistic. We have to ground ourselves in what's happening right now. For now, this is still a very early stage experiment. Users have reported that the performance can get a bit slow when a lot of people are using it. Like we mentioned, support is limited to just a few regions and only in English. And let's be real, it's stepping into a very crowded market with big, established players like HubSpot and Hootsuite already in the game. And that brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? Tools like Pomelli, they're clearly just the beginning of something. As they get faster and smarter and more widely available, you really have to wonder, are we looking at the new standard for how small businesses do their marketing? Is this the moment the game really changes for good?